Hey guys, and welcome back to the online learning space. Today what we're going to have a look at creating is this cool smoke effect that has the text wrapping like that. Now it's not hard to do, and we're going to use After Effects for this. So let's open up a new After Effects project. Now the first thing you want to do is you want to have the smoke files on hand. Now these files are from videocopilot.net, and all we're going to do is import them into Adobe After Effects. So all you have to do is import them into your After Effects, and then what we can do is we can drag it down to a new composition, and it will now create a composition the size of that file, and it's also the length of the file. So now you can see that the smoke will play easily just like that. So the next thing that we have to do is we have to put some text on our project. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the T tool, okay, and we're going to draw a box, and we're going to make sure that we pick a nice font, okay, and we're going to write something. Okay, now to change the font size, you need to go to character, and you can make font bigger and smaller. If you want to change the spacing between the letters, you can do that over here. If you want to make everything bold or all caps, you can change those things over here. So once you're happy with your font and your size of your font, you don't want to make it too big, because the smoke is going to kind of look like the text is coming from the smoke. So you probably want to make it a touch smaller. So anyways, once you're happy with your text, okay, we then need to work on the next step. And the next step is we need to apply an effect which is called a linear wipe that will make this go from left to right. So to do that, you right click on the layer, you go to effect, you go to transition, and you go to linear wipe. Now once that's set up, all your effects are in here in the effect controls, and if you start to play around, you can see that you can now animate this kind of effect. Now we want to go the opposite way of this, so what we're going to do is we're going to change the wipe angle to -90 degrees, and we're going to start at 100, and now we're going to do our first bit of animating. So to animate, we need to click on the little stopwatch, okay, we need to move it in time until the smoke kind of stops, and then we need to set that to 0. So now when I scrub through that, okay, you can see that the text is kind of coming out the same time as the smoke. Okay, and by the way, you can press space to preview them together. You just have to let it render. Now if you feel that it doesn't really come out at the same time, like for example there's too much smoke here and the letters aren't out, you can change that by clicking on effects, clicking on linear wipe, and just speeding up the process. So say for example you wanted more text to appear right there, okay, so now the H and the Y, and we can even speed it up a little bit more. Now the timing is, the most difficult bit to do on this, just getting it timed right, but you get it as close as you can. Once you've done that, we then want to create a new adjustment layer. Now to do that, you right click in this panel down here, you go to new adjustment layer. Now we're going to call this adjustment layer distort, so you can right click and rename it to distort. Okay, and if you've accidentally double clicked on that, you can go back to your composition by just clicking on the composition. Now with the adjustment layer, what we're going to do is we're going to create a mask. So to do that, make sure you're on the adjustment layer, click on the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle like that. Okay, We then need to animate that mask to move along a path. So we're going to click on the mask, all these options over here, and what we want is mask path. Okay, so the same way that we animated this transition, we're going to do it over here with the mask path. So we'll click on the little stopwatch, we'll move it over in time, okay, and then what we are going to do is I'm going to hold shift and I'm just going to make sure that it goes over all of the text just like that. And so now that's animated, okay, the mask path will move. Okay, now we can go back and tweak the timing as well if it doesn't really sit that right, but as long as you can get it to animate like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put another effect on that adjustment layer. So we're going to go right click, effect, distort, and we want this turbulent displace. Okay, now you can kind of see what's happening here already. Okay, the letters are getting warped as well as the clouds. You need to change the distort layer to screen. Okay, and so there it will just work on the lettering. Okay, now once turbulent displace is on, you can play around with some of the settings. You can change the amount. So do you see how the letters are getting a little bit more crazy? Okay, and you can also change the size. So you can play around with, some of the settings that you like. It really depends on how much, displacement that you want. Once you're happy with your settings, you can also have a look at another option in here, evolution. And if you hold Alt while pressing on the evolution, we have this expression which will come up. And what we're going to write in here is time asterisk 250. And you can see as the mask, flies through, all these kind of, weird effects are happening. Alright, now we'll also put in a blur to make it look a little bit better. So to do that, again, you right click, go to effect, and then we want blur and sharpen, and we want fast blur. Okay, so we can now blur out some of that displacement. So as the letters, go through the mask, you can see that it's, creating that kind of effect, and it looks pretty good so far. If you feel that the mask is too heavy, you can also go and change the feather, which kind of softens it a little bit. And you can also do that with the text. If you add a little bit of feather on the first text, it just makes it a touch softer when the whole animation is going through. But anyways, I'm pretty happy with how that looks so far. So the final step is to add a background and maybe some sound as well. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you highlight all those three and you want to pre-compose them. Okay, so we'll call it pre-comp 1. Alright, so that will pull all of that together. Now I'm just going to go to the internet and grab a background, and we're going to put it behind that. So once you've imported a background, you can just drag it down to the timeline now. Okay, and what you can do is you can either change the mode to screen, and there you have the smoke and the effects all working at once, also with the background. Now you can go and change the colors of the smoke if you really want to. You can also render it as well. Now if you need to render it, all you have to do is go to composition, add to media encoder queue, and then another Adobe application will open, and all you have to do is specify the directory that you need to set, and then press render, and it will render the project for you. So once your project is ready to render, you can change the directory here. You can change some of the presets here and save it to however you like, but once you're ready, you can just press the start button and it will now render it for you. So anyways guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.